Okay, I know I talked about this film, but I felt like I want to go more of a what's analog detail. I think that's the word on this film. The first titled, not titled The Avengers because that movie name was taken, so they decided to title it Marvel's The Avengers. That movie was that the other title was taken. They used Marvel's. My guess is the reason why they put Marvel's Avengers for the title because they made a '90s adaptation of the TV show called The Avengers, not related to Marvel at all, where I hear it didn't do well at the box office from the internet. Of course, the internet has people on the internet do give incorrect facts at whenever for movies a lot. Like saying a movie's good when it's really bad, or saying a film's good when it's really mediocre, like every Avengers film, Marvel's Avengers. But most time, they're only slightly above mediocre. Except for Infinity War, which is straight up, but doesn't rate up straight up mediocre entertainment. Well, so Loki comes from is handed this little spear thing from this boss who hasn't been acknowledged now. Now we don't know who the boss who's Loki's working for, but we find out later in the later film it is Thanos, and we also find out at the end of the credits he's been working for Thanos. And Loki fails. Because his plan was to piss every Avengers member off, and to save the consequences. That's to succeed to victory, so to piss them all off. But he didn't think we were good enough to just kill them. He just needs to piss them off, not kill them, because that makes sense. That's the dumbest plan I ever heard for a supervillain. Even more than Captain Planet's villains. Even Tony mentioned that's not a good idea. That's a pretty stupid idea if you thought that was going to work like that. It's because Tony breaks the brand new slogan that there is no throne for him. It's only him. He's going to only just get his ass whooped by the Avengers. And he's just trying to intimidate the Loki, who is a bit of a pussy. And Loki is absolutely, you don't feel any sympathy for this guy, like this guy that you felt in the first Thor movie. Therefore, you understood his motivation. You don't understand what motivation he has other than he just wants to take over the world. So he's basically Thanos from Infinity. He's got the Thanos syndrome, where he became a very complex deep bad guy into a cartoon character. You know how Endgame turned Thanos into a cartoon character by the third act? This movie does that as a very opening scene. So, in the first Thor movie, he was a very complex, deep, sympathetic villain that you can kind of get behind why he's doing this. But, please turn... here is, he's just a generic villain. And he's not a quirky one, he's just, a whiny one. So, sort of what I would expect Paul to show if he played Loki. To give a performance. He gives he's not charming, he's not quirky, he's not likable, he's just like, disgusting cockroach that you just want to squish. So yeah so um so I don't know why she's still calling me. I can't answer the phone. So anyway, Loki's here in despair, and that comes from this other dimension. Turns out he's not dead like we assume in the first Thor movies. Unless you saw the end credits to the first Thor film, then you would know he wasn't dead. But chances are you didn't. I'm just guessing. So anyway, he are you okay? So so yeah, he kills a bunch of people, blows a shield, just blows up shield headquarters, and was planning to bury Loki and his army along with it. That didn't work, and he's taken brain control of a few shield agents, and including Hawkeye, who becomes who's the Avengers, known name Avengers in the comics, but doesn't come a known name Avenger until the sequel because nobody cares about Hawkeye in this film, and he doesn't have a. He only jokes once in this and doesn't joke constantly, which is odd. And the recruit Shield recruits all the Avengers that are left: Black Widow, Hulk, Captain America, and Tony Stark. So yeah I'm just going to live with you. Most of these characters are meant for punchlines. The mostly wanted down versions of himself. Most of the time in the film. Oh, and I forgot Thor. He's an Avenger too. Yes. Thor doesn't show up till later, like Iron Man doesn't, but he's the last one to show up, make an entrance. So forgot about him. And Iron Man shows up later as Iron Man in his Iron Man suit. And then Thor shows up in interest when they get kidnapped Loki. And so yeah. So all the Avengers don't really have any character arcs, which it makes it a average beginning. And the more of don't come across as they don't come across as the closer to the comic counterparts, but more than their hollow shells closer to being their comic counterparts. That sounds crazy, right? That sounds confusing, actually. Well, for example, the reason why they were, like, for example, they are more relatable in their standalone films and more interesting in standalone films because they're here. They're just punchlines. I'm not going to lie to you. There's most of the punchlines, except for Black Widow and Hulk, who actually has character arc and motivations. And these and stuff, we don't know. We know that Thor's still wanting to stalk on his girlfriend, and Captain America is we don't know what Captain America is wanting. We just know he's all patriotic and bland and stupid, and not waste the times. And Thor, he's trying to reason with his brother Loki. That's what he's trying to do. And that's and the rest of the stuff is just mostly telling jokes and sitting their asses in a room, while Loki's narrating all of his diabolical plans and toying with the Avengers and Shield and blah blah blah, and Black Widow's character arc, she wants to get her, what she wants is to get her best friend Hawkeye back and break free from Loki's mind control, and she's willing to negotiate, it looks like, with Loki by any means necessary, and only to reveal that she was fucking with him mentally by playing desperate. You know, the damsel in distress, desperate. So, turns out she just wanted to get information from Loki, and turns out Banner is his end game, the Hulk. So they all meet in this room, and Black Widow is in the room with Fury, and Banner believes that the Hulk is not to be trusted with, and thinks it's a mistake bringing him on this hero mission because he's not a hero, and Stark believes that he is a hero, and he thinks Hulk and him would like being heroes if they knew what they were capable of, if they knew that they were capable of being heroes, and okay, so Banner starts getting angry and going crazy, and so does every other Avenger in the room. That's because the spear is the this is a straight face. Okay, I gotta do it because it's funny. The spear is making the Avengers turn against each other, and they Fury along with the Avengers turning against each other. But clearly, the spear, not because Shield was hiding stuff from the Avengers, like using Loki's scepter to make weapons for Shield. Clearly, we're supposed to figure that makes sense. Let's just go the bullshit. That makes sense to me. Anyway, so I thought it was I kind of figured this out by when they get close up on a spear and then have Loki smiling. Of course, the first time I was mostly distracted by Scarlett Johansson's tush on the big screen the first time in 2012 when I first saw this film, so I didn't understand why I was shooting a spear, because then I wasn't paying attention to that. I can't lie about that. Of course, I'm pretty sure most people would. That's what they were doing in the theater. And I saw this in 3D, and it looked decent in 3D. Probably would look better if I had the right prescriptions. Scarlett Johansson would look prettier if I had the right prescriptions for my contest, or I think. James, it's late, so yeah. The Avengers, the Shield helicopter gets attacked by Hawkeye and Loki's army and break Loki free. And Bruce gets angry because he gets seriously hurt. Stuff gets clobbered on him, and Black Widow has her leg under some metal, and guys go to help her, and she tells them to scram while she's trying to calm Bruce down, and it doesn't work. So Bruce ends up turning Hulk and ends up trying to slaughter Black Widow while Black Widow is running her ass off. So, and I'm wondering, how does she not get winded at all? The Hulk's clearly faster now. How is she not winded? Because she's outrunning the Hulk, when the Hulk clearly has super speed and super strength and very almost indestructible. And this, especially in this MCU's Hulk, we don't know what can, if there's anything that can kill Hulk per se, MCU's Hulk. So I'm sorry. I'm just wondering how Black Widow's not getting winded from all this running because I mean I was kind of like really kind of sucking when watching her run for the Hulk because it's that intense. I was thinking, but yet she's not getting winded. It's you know Marvel movies have MCU films have told me if you want to like something, it's hard. Most important thing, they don't think too hard about it. The whole logic of it, of the plot and stuff. Just pay attention to the quality acting and consistent stupid storytelling. Therefore, you might get something good. Oh my god, so stupid. But it's true. Yeah, Coulson ends up making a horrible sacrifice, and he believed that he was the key that the Avengers barely knew or got to know. That would bring the Avengers together. All of the Avengers. And it does. This is after Hulk attacks the other Avengers after trying to kill Black Widow. And then the army agents shoot the Hulk. And then he gets more angry and just attacks the SHIELD agents. And wakes up in the middle of nowhere and somehow ends up in the same location where the Avengers need him the most. And yeah, Hawkeye's back. She gets her best friend back, Hawkeye, after him and head high enough to break the brainwash. Is the brainwash from Loki's controlling him, and even though his eyes are still clear blue, he suddenly remembers it's time to remember Romanoff, who is Black Widow. He says Romanoff, so he starts to snap off it. Then Black Widow just punches him right in the head and out cold. Out cold. And she says that's how she broke the brainwash by hitting him in the head. Alright. And Loki knows all about Romanoff's dark, twisted past, but we don't really. They kind of touch upon it during the interrogation scene that Romanoff is putting Loki through by using reverse psychology on Loki. And it's very brief and doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It will make sense, but it's not as stupid as you want. The explanation is not as stupid as the rest of the logic in the film, what they use to explain stuff. So, my point is too smart for the stupid film, is it?
It's too late for that, honey. You gotta try to keep it down a little bit quieter, okay? I don't have a door to close, so I'm tired and I'm trying to sleep. So I gotta take care of your dad during the day because he's really sick.
Okay.
Okay, so I was texting you to say, could you just be a little quieter or do that?
I tried being quieter.
Can you do it in the daytime?
I can't stop now.
Okay, but can you start recording that next time in the daytime?
Okay.
Okay, so I'll just let you finish this, but I can't sleep. I'm very light sleep. I always have been.
Okay.
It's a very bad thing, but it's like I can't close the door to have quietness, so I
Okay.
hear everything out
Okay.
there. Okay.
So where was I? So yes, the logic is well. Why am I talking about this film? Doesn't really have that much logic. So where was I going with that? Anyway, the Avengers assemble together, and Captain America doesn't say Avengers assemble until Endgame, that's how we know that something's awesome going to happen in the comics. And um, so the Avengers assemble over some guy they barely knew called Coulson, and Bruce Banner has accepted the fact that he is a hero, so he turns into Hulk and punches this giant metal worm thing from space. And they take down this whole giant army from space, coming from space, summoned by Loki, who works for Thanos. We don't know what his name is until Guardians of the Galaxy. Thanos' name. Unless you're a comic book fan and you know the stuff, so which is kind of a problem. So and so the Avengers are given orders by Captain America because he decided to make himself the leader of the group in the third act. When the Avengers all got together and Captain was giving instructions to each one of the group, and it's kind of out of nowhere actually. Yeah, tells Hulk to smash, and Hulk smashes. Then they all start to get mortally wounded. It looks like all hope is lost. And how I know this because Hulk is getting wounded. Black Widow doesn't know what to do. How the Black Widow is made the most success, and Hawkeye's outnumbered, and Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man's outnumbered, and getting their asses whooped. So we're supposed to really believe that these characters that we barely got to know in this third act structure are going to die. Yeah. I believe we're alright. Not. Um so yeah. Yeah, so um, someone when gets Nick Fury and fire a nuclear bomb to Manhattan where the Avengers are. So even though Fury advised against it against the superiors because it's a stupid solution, and the plus the Avengers have this under control. So um Tony Stark grabs the nuclear bomb and flies through a wormhole, and then Captain America realizes that Tony's a real hero, and because he's willing to put his life on the line. This is supposed to bring closure to that argument they were having about being a hero, and Tony Stark not one. It's really confusing. So yeah, so yeah, so the Avengers save the day because of Tony Stark's Messiah quest. I guess by in his risking his life, and Kevin has told Natasha who was like was to close the wormhole because the assumed Stark is not going to come back, and Stark did came back, but he's going way too fast now. It's out cold, so Hulk saves him, and Hulk wakes him up by so Hulk will basically roars, and that wakes Tony's up from his coma, I guess. So instead of someone doing CPR on him, the roar works. Yes, clearly. That makes sense. We to wake someone up from a coma, I guess. Yes. Oh God. So the Avengers go their separate ways and disband for now until the sequel. That's where we go to from. That's where we got. That's where Age of Ultron comes in. Sadly, the best Avengers film and the most underrated, critically and audience-wise. I don't feel so awesome watching this. I feel awesome at times, kind of like Dark Knight. I don't feel awesome. I just feel slightly above average. So I'm giving this rating 6 out of 10, which is slightly above average. And an average is a 5 out of 10. And this gets 6 out of 10. The first Avengers film. And the amount of screen time that the Avengers spent, 90% throughout the 2-act structure of the film, and the third act structure of the film is basically them not trusting each other and barely bonding, except for Bruce Banner and Stark, which is the only one who he bonds with them, but the Avengers don't really bond. It's kind of hard to see why would they work together if they barely know each other or don't even like each other. It's weird. But the but the one Avengers comrade that they barely got to know called Coulson, Agent Coulson from Shield, worked for Shield. And even you saw the standalone Avengers film. I mean, the standalone films that had the standalone Captain America and two Iron Man films in the